This has gotten extremely serious here. I want to share it with all the drivers and for the ones that this affects, which it's going to affect every single driver out there, right? And it's going to add an extra process to when you get inspected. And so for people who have clarification, we know English proficiency. We know that that is already a rule, but it's never enforced. We know that there was a memo that said that you could get fined but not out of service, but that now President Trump has signed an executive order. English proficiency is back on the table, and it is an out-of-service offense. So a big part to understand quickly is that the agency that they hire to do these splits and put truck drivers out of service is the CVSA, right? And so May 1st, which was just recently, they have made a report. I'll put the link down so that you guys have it, from President Donald J. Trump himself, that by June 25th, this does go into effect. Now, one thing that they did not state how it's going to work, and I'm going to figure that out, and I'm going to share it with you guys, is that they're going to have a process that they're going to streamline so that everybody that gets tested for the same thing. Either it's going to be read a sign, read a book, or write something. So I just want to let you guys know we do not have that yet, but it's coming. So this is going to be huge news. And a lot of people say it's going to be a money grab. It's going to be something that the agency is going to make more money off of drivers on. But a lot of people believe this is for public safety. You know, let's get into today's video. I'm going to read it to you and then break it down a little bit and just share the links that are in hand and just let you guys know June 25th is the effective date. And a lot of drivers are going to be affected by this. So share this with your family and friends, because this affects all truck drivers. Even if you are English proficient, when you get inspected level 1, 2, 3, there's going to be a process where they might make you read a book, read a sign, write something down. So it needs to be clear how this is really going to work. But we'll get into that when it does happen. But this is extremely big news, because now the CVSA has this in writing. And once they have it, oh boy, man, they're going to be pulling over everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing great. Just want to give you guys some updates on what's going on. We've been talking a lot about this executive order that President Trump has signed in, that you have to be English proficient. I'll send links down below about that. But I did get an interesting email, and I do want to share this with you guys. It said here, Alex, it's a little broken. Okay. So I'm an old school trucker, and I don't read and write good. Does this affect me too? You know, I was born in the USA. So truth be told is this has nothing to do with, you know, your ethnicity. It doesn't matter what you look like. I'm sorry. If you cannot read and write and speak proficiently, this can be a problem, and you can get put out of service. So just letting you guys know, you know, a lot of people are saying, look, there was already a rule on this and nothing's going to change. No one's going to enforce this. But to tell you, the FMCSA uses a third party, which is the CVSA, to do their blitz. And the CVSA just made an announcement. They said Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, CVSA, announced major action on English language proficiency, ELP, for truck drivers in compliance with direction from the White House. So this is straight coming from President Trump here. It says here, the CVSA announced that starting on June 25th of 2025, non-compliance with existing federal regulations requiring commercial vehicle operators to be proficient in English is an out-of-service violation. This move by the CVSA comes just days after President Trump signed an executive order targeting several trucking industry issues, including a call for tightened English language proficiency requirements for commercial vehicle drivers. The EO called for a reversal in a 2016 memo that directed the law enforcement not to place truck drivers out of service for ELP violations. So I'm here to tell you guys, this is becoming extremely real, because the agency that hires the CVSA to put out of service people are the ones that are stating that June 25th, they are putting people out of service. The CVSA board of directors voted add an English proficiency US only heading to the Part 1 driver section of the North American Standard out of service criteria with the following language. Driver cannot read and speak the English language sufficiently to communicate with the safety officials to respond to official inquiries and directions in accordance with FMCSA Enforcement Guidelines 391.11B2, declare drivers out of service. So it states here, the CVSA Board of Directors used an emergency bylaw provision to amend the North American Standards out of service criteria quickly enough to meet the 60-day deadline put forth by the Trump administration. So, I'm telling you guys, this is getting as real as it gets. By June 25th, you're going to see a lot of drivers being put out of service. And so, it's about public safety. I know a lot of people are really upset about this, but they're not saying that you can't have broken English. They're just saying that they're going to put you through a little test, and if they feel that you are not English proficient enough, you will be put out of service.